right. Welcome to the Hypnosis Hero podcast, where you can get hypnotized through the screen. You all know me as the captain, and we're just going to make a quick check because we've had a couple of issues. Facebook apparently has not been playing nice with some of the platforms that we live stream from, including the one that we're using tonight. So we're just going to do a quick check, make sure we're live on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and we also ditched LinkedIn tonight. For some strange reason, they just don't like it when we schedule things on the fly, which is what we need to do to get TikTok up and running. So hopefully we've got everybody right where we want them, which is watching us. And by us, I mean myself, of course, and my co-host on the coast, Mr. Brian Bay.
Hey, good evening, Shawn.
How are you?
Ready for bed. Like it's one of those things where the law interests me and the different courts and stuff like that and how things play out, but then there's just some people can just be a challenge. It's like do you want to work towards resolution, or do you just want to continue the fight? And so I'm looking very much forward to when I can do a lot more performing, and the only things that are fighting me are weather and aircraft maintenance.
Well, that is the goal, isn't it? And even for myself, I've got a couple of years left, and then I can just be all about performing and doing hypnosis full time. So
yeah.
How are things otherwise on the coast, out west? Because I can say out west now because you are out west. Normally, I'm the western guy.
High temperature for the year. 82 degrees is what it topped out at today. A couple days ago, I think it was in the low to mid 70s, which gorgeous day outside. And then it says that rain is supposed to come in about 2 hours. It's still above 80 right now, but then it's supposed to be just garbage the rest of the week.
So we're supposed to have a windstorm actually starting from Alberta tonight and then into tomorrow and Thursday. It's supposed to blow across the Saskatchewan. We were kind of joking about it, a few of us, that it would be nice if they would actually tell us when it's just not windy, because it's usually always windy here. And for those of us in the rest of the world that like freedom units, that's 20. You were about 28 degrees in freedom in Celsius.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
just a quick comparison. Yeah, I got to do that once in a while.
Yeah, it's we are going through like Mother Nature's menopause right now. She's like, it's hot, it's cold, it's wet, it's dry, we are off our medications right now. She is bipolar, and so.
Well, we still have snow. Like I'm going north to some of our schools in a couple of days. I still expect to see snow on the ground.
Oh wow. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we the roads, of course, flooded and all that good stuff. But you know what? Over time, things just have a way of correcting themselves. I was talking with a few people, and I said, you know what, guys? That's why they call it a water cycle.
Right.
The water cycles back up to the top and comes back down again. So. This year we got dumped on. Next year probably we won't.
Let me see if I can.
Just depends on where the water happens to be.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
so we are up on Facebook.
We're up on Facebook. We should be up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Good. Oh! I know this guy.
Is he? Oh, it reads like he's a cow or an eavesdropper. I'm not sure. An Ewan and a cow dropper, one of the two.
Grant, good to hear from you. Hope things are going well. I know you hosted the Aisha webinar today, and then you were off to. I'm assuming you were off to, and maybe already home from a gig earlier this evening.
Yeah, I was on the phone with him for for a while he was driving home, and everything seemed to go well tonight. Grant, if you're watching, I sent you a link to join us real quick if you want to pop on. That's in your messenger, and so let me pull up YouTube here, and yep, looks like we're live on YouTube as well. So
Okay, no, that sounds good. All right.
oh,
Go ahead.
Shawn, I don't have the powers.
You don't have powers.
Yeah.
All right.
We were caught up in conversation beforehand, and
let me do some bippity boppity boo.
Don't make a fairy comment. Don't make a fairy comment.
Ta-da.
So Grant says he just pulled up from tonight's show. So
that's good.
Good. Glad that you made it home. No deer on the freeway or anything like that, and no icy roads in England, I hear.
I don't think Grant is going to have icy roads, but let's hear from the man himself.
Oh,
no, it's actually, the weather's not, I mean, it's raining now, but the weather's actually quite nice here at the moment. It's not warm yet, but it's getting there.
Right. No, that's awesome.
That's what I keep saying. It's not warm yet, but it's getting there.
It's getting there.
So we'll do a quick plug, Shawn. If you want to watch the WHL championships between Prince Albert and the Everett Silvertips, Victory Plus, it's a free download. It's an app, and you can watch the games live. I think the announcer they broadcast with the announcements from the home team.
Okay.
So they're about 45 minutes away from puck drop, I think.
So Brian's going to have that off on the side, watching to make sure that Canada kicks the U.S.
Oh God, I think it's going to be a great series.
Yeah.
Both teams are tied at 1. Game 3 is tonight, so.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
So is that hockey then, Brian?
Yes.
It is. They call it Major Junior, so it's generally going to be 16 to 20-year-olds, and then you have each team can have 3 players that will turn 21 at some point during the season. They call those overagers, but guys like Carter Hart went from the WHL right to the Philadelphia Flyers and survived there, and then had a multi-year criminal investigation that I think they were found not guilty. But a lot of guys coming right out of those leagues.
Yeah.
So right to the
NHL. The game that you would have seen here in Yorkton when you were here, Grant, that would have been the age group right below that.
Oh, right, cool.
So
yeah, I must admit, being out there, that it was actually fun to watch it. The atmosphere in the stadium was pretty epic. So, but yeah, hockey in the UK is always seen as more of a girls' sport, Brian.
All right,
I'm not saying anything.
Those fighting words. I won't strike a brother, Master Mason, in anger, but out of necessity, I think Grandma will make an exception.
Do you want to know what the real truth is, though, Grant? If you watch Olympic hockey, the women's teams, they fight a heck of a lot harder than I think the guys do.
Wow.
So you just you don't want to be in front of them when they're coming down the ice. Let's put it that way.
That's true. That is true.
All right, I'll go for this. So the women's hockey, it's not like, oh, you took a cheap shot or something like that. Someone's going to go bump into each other, and then it's going to be like, oh, someone's going to talk some shit, and it's going to be like, what did I do? Oh, I think you know what you should do. You should already know. And then they're going to be all that passive-aggressive catty garbage. And, guys, they'll drop gloves, throw fists, and it's going to be anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes sitting in the box. But, yeah, it's but yeah, Grant, tell our viewers how you're doing. Did you?
Yeah, no, it's a good show. So it's a residency I have in a seaside town called Skegness. Well, it's Chapel St Leonard's. It's the posh bit of St Skegness, but it's a massive venue, so it's probably about a 1,500, 2,000 seater venue. Great tech, fantastic tech. And it's always nerve-wracking at this time of the season because it's a Tuesday night show out of season. How busy is it going to be? It wasn't very busy, but they were great volunteers and a great show. So expectations were low, and so I was able to deliver a great show for them.
You were like, awesome.
Yeah,
So, you were telling me some of the multi-camera views, and you're like, I just have to show up, plug in Bluetooth, and I've got my microphone, and just wait for the intro.
Oh, I don't even use my microphone. They do everything for me. And yeah, it is. It's like there is 3 big video walls on the back of the stage.
Yeah.
And then another 3 video walls throughout the venue. It's a dream venue to work for. So, yeah.
So it's not too terribly far from you. It's just out and back and call it good.
Well, yeah, exactly. So it was good too. But it also means like a 3-hour drive back, which is not too bad for me. I've just pulled up outside the house now.
That's down the street as far as you're concerned.
Exactly.
You've driven farther for coffee.
Do you know what? I've driven farther for some things.
And demonetized.
Yeah, exactly.
We see that Scott on the line. Good to hear from you, Scott. And yes,
yeah. Scott poked his head up to say hi.
Yeah, the Canadian. Yes, that's exactly who we're talking about. And I'll even say the Canadian about, because that's.
Well, speaking of Canadian women, we've got a pretty awesome guest on.
We do. That's a good segue.
Well, I was going to say, before you bring your guest on, I'll disappear now, so it doesn't look like your guest comes on and then I leave. So I'll jump out now. But guys, great to see you. I will be watching the show from the comment section. But I need to set my house and get to bed now. So, okay, right.
You guys be good.
All right. And with that in mind, we should get on and introduce our guest. Always good to hear from our friends in the UK, and even though they're up at like ridiculous hours. So our guest tonight is a clinical hypnotherapist, body talk practitioner, and a podcast host with over 22 years of experience in the health and wellness industry. She specializes in helping empaths retrain their nervous systems to feel safe in their bodies so they can release protection patterns like emotional eating, burnout, and stubborn weight. She is the creator of the Safe Body Hypnosis series and the Thriving Body membership, where she blends hypnosis, nervous system science, and subconscious reprogramming to help people move from surviving to thriving. So please welcome to the Hypnosis Hero podcast, Robyn Holm.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure to have you. We got some the ASL, right? With the jack.
Probably. You know what? I come from a group fitness background, so we just do a lot of things with our hands.
Oh, okay.
But yes, that is.
All right, so right away we're into the comments. Can you fix Brian?
Such a dick.
Before you answer that question, let's go through the interview and find out what needs to be fixed.
Oh man. And then Scott is actively typing something right now, I bet.
Oh, I'm sure he is. That's just the type of guys that we have. What can I say?
Buckle up, Robyn. This is my social circle.
The Canadian in me is now sweating.
Oh, don't worry. We're safe. We're in the middle of it. It's the UK and the US that are fighting back and forth now.
Oh, now you guys want a wall.
It's all good. It's all good. All right. Well, welcome to the podcast. This has been a long time in coming because you and I crossed paths on TikTok. I don't know. Gosh, it's got to be like 3 or 4 months ago at least. Yeah. And we said, yeah, let's do it. And then we were looking at, oh, man, when can we schedule time? And then it didn't work. And then it worked. And then, oh, no, something else changed. So here we are finally. and live on the same platform at the same time.
Thank you, Shawn. And you're so sweet always you're so encouraging, even on the TikTok platform and everything. I always really appreciate your encouragement and hearing from you. So thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for not giving up on our schedules.
No. Oh, see, now you gave Scott an idea. He should be typing something. There you go. So 22
first.
Yeah, while you and Scott fight it out, I'm gonna actually get started on the interview. How about that? So you started out. You were not in hypnosis or into hypnosis at the very beginning. So it went kind of from fitness to injury challenge. So you had some health challenges, and then body talk and hypnotherapy. So talk to us about that journey and how that's worked out for you.
It's been such an interesting journey. And when I very first started out in the industry, it was in the fitness industry. I started as a personal trainer, and I really hated that. I really, really hated that one-on-one work where people would just come and tell me why they didn't do what I had told them to do. I was in my early 20s at the time, and it was just super frustrating. And I nearly got out of the fitness industry altogether, but then I discovered group fitness. And group fitness was right up my alley. I loved the music. I loved, a room full of people. I loved that connection between me and them. And I eventually started working for a company called Zumba and was part of the initial training team that brought Zumba to Canada. So we were training instructors at that time, and I was training instructors for 4 years with Zumba, and I loved that so much. Mostly I trained in BC and Alberta. I live in BC now. So I'm mostly trained in BC and Alberta, a little bit into Saskatchewan, but the Eastern trainers tended to come that way. And over that time period, this is when I was in my late 20s, I had such incredible anxiety. I would worry about everything, and especially with the trainings, like just getting it all perfect and making sure it was okay. And I would train 58 instructors at once in one training. I did 2 trainings a weekend, and I really felt responsible for every one of those people. And as I said, I trained every weekend for 4 years, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't let the day go. I would replay everything in my head afterwards. And even though I was doing my dream career, it was very slowly killing me, to be honest, because I completely at the end of it. So I would be training every weekend. Could not sleep in hotels anymore. So for that entire weekend, I would not sleep. I would hear every sound in the hotel, and it was torture. And then I would go and be, physically active, incredibly physically active all weekend long, and then try to catch up on during the week. Meanwhile, I was also
there are people just tuning in going, so how long did you work for Microsoft?
yeah.
I think that might be a fruit stand career.
Yeah.
At least no sitting at a desk. There was a lot of sitting at a desk, actually. So that, and then meanwhile, I was also trying to get pregnant, and I had the dreaded unexplained infertility. I don't know. Do you guys work clinically at all, or do you keep it just as
I do.
You do?
I don't.
No.
Not to say that it's out of the picture. Washington State is kind of interesting in that the way that they write the rules or the laws is it says it closely mimics psychologists and mental health professionals, but for hypnotherapy, it's you have to have training, but it doesn't tell you like the benchmarks or the kind of the content that you have to your curriculum that you have to be proficient in, and then it says and or be a member of like a NGH or OSHA or something like that, and there's not a whole lot of like record keeping requirements. There's a couple of do's and don'ts, and then it's just sort of like, all right, send it. You pay your money, and it's not uncommon for a lot of states where it's like, if you give your money, pay a fee annually or every 2 years or something, that they go, you're a hypnotherapist now. Don't hurt anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of ways that we can get trained in hypnosis. Hi, Becca. I have been a clinical hypnotherapist now for a couple of years. And before that, I was in something called Body Talk, which is similar. It's more somatic. So, but the training that I went through is an IMDHA training, and it was a 220-hour program. So we're we're extensively trained in that sense. It's a wonderful program. I teach for the school now, which is really awesome. But so it's been a couple of years that I've been training full time now. Get out of Washington, Brian. Anyhow, at the same time, I was trying to get pregnant and I had unexplained infertility, the dreaded diagnosis. Like, we don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. Can I say that on this podcast? I don't know.
You just can. You can do anything.
Okay, we
Pretty
don't know
awesome.
what's wrong with you. And you should probably just do IVF. And for those of you that don't know, IVF is where they stimulate your ovaries to produce a bunch of eggs, hopefully. They take them out via needle biopsy. They take the sperm from whoever the donor is. In this case, it was my husband. And
Preferably the significant other.
it isn't always, and that's fine. So in my case, it was. And so they make embryos in a little petri dish. And then they take the embryo and they put it into your uterus. And you would think that would be successful 100% of the time, right? They take the egg, they take the sperm, they make an embryo, they put it where it's supposed to go. It's only like 30% effective. And I was 30% for the age that I was, because I was 27 when I first started IVF. 27.
Yeah, my landlord was, he and his wife were trying for a while, and it was like we did like 6 or 7 rounds of it. And he goes,
You did?
really
Sorry.
good, yeah, he goes, really good insurance only pays for so much. And so they got pregnant, had a baby, and then we found out that they are expecting probably later on this year. It sounds like they're having a little girl. So I was kind of like, you guys went from 2 really like corporate successful people to parents of 2, and he's like, the little one he has become mobile. He's running around and he's starting to talk back.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, wait until they're 12.
And it's funny what you just said, because that does happen for a lot of people. And the concept is usually that they've broken through their subconscious belief that they can't get pregnant, and then they'll naturally conceive later. So Becca was just saying about her GAD and social anxiety. Yeah. So Becca, later today, I'm going to do an anxiety hypnosis if you're able to stick around to the end, because I totally feel.
I'm not sure if you've tuned in or watched different episodes before, but Becca is one of our regulars. So she's watching from England, even the same time zone as that Grant guy that says we need to get me a priest. But,
I'm so glad you're here, Becca. Thank you.
and then Scott is joining us from Texas.
Oh,
so
nice.
He's one of our folks that tunes in fairly often. He says, "Get out of Washington. The weather sucks anyway." I'm like, our summers are much milder than down there, and there's no venomous snakes on this side of the mountain, so I'll take that.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky over here on the West Coast, aren't we?
Yeah.
Pretty lucky. So over time, I had the anxiety going, Becca, as well as trying to get pregnant, as well as in my career. So, and I was only 27. So the first time we did IVF, they were like, "You're going to get pregnant immediately." Absolutely.
Yeah.
We did the IVF. I only got 1 egg. My 1 follicle took all of the drugs, and I got 1 egg. And so I didn't have a pregnancy. And they're sitting here scratching their heads like, and my doctor says, "Well, this might just be how it goes for you." So at 27, she's telling me I'm never going to have a baby. And I was like, what is happening? I come from the fitness industry. If you want A plus B equals C.
They're like, have you tried tequila just pretending like you met in a bar? And
have you tried going down to Mexico on vacation? Have you tried? We tried it all, Brian. We tried it all. Trust me. We traveled. So we did everything you can imagine. And I was devastated, absolutely devastated, because this fertility doctor at 27, I was like, well, we're going to do IVF and it's going to work. It took me a long time to get to the place that I even could do IVF. I had to really get there in my mind. And then it failed horribly, like horribly. So over the next little while, I was still in my fitness career, and I finally got to the place about 9 months later where I wanted to try again. But this time, every time I did injections, because you have to inject your belly with the drugs. This time, every time I did the injections, I imagined the drug going to each individual follicle in each individual ovary. And I did that every goddamn time I took that
Yeah.
injection. And I just was like, why not? Like, I'm just going to tell it where to go. And science background, I did not believe, like, yoga was too woo-woo for me.
Right.
But this is just the brain and the body. And I was like, why can't we? So that time I got 20 eggs and just 9 months apart. And that time the fertility doctor scanned my ovaries and she said, it's like I'm looking at a different woman's ovaries. And that is when I started to be like, okay, if it was just
You're like, some of the medical whoopsie doodles that we've had, like, that might be a valid explanation, but no, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that was a taste of like, maybe it's not just about the body, perhaps.
Mhm.
Because if it was, IVF would work every single time. Perhaps it's not just the body.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, then it's like, okay, now we've had our second round of drugs that have come in. Like, first we built up a little bit of a tolerance, but I mean, go kind of circling back to being so young, like what you were talking about is you're like, kind of established in my career. I'm like the pinnacle of fitness and healthy host and everything like that, and then you're going like, oh my god, like, what's wrong with me? I'm not good enough. Why can't I? Do I need to start chain smoking to make horrible choices? And then it's like, great, you're having twins. But I can only imagine like this, sort of a psychological effect that it would have, where you're like, because I imagine that from a young age, like, you watched your mom and you're like, I can be a little girl, I can't wait to be a mommy and bake and cook and all this stuff. And then it's like, now I've got my relationship, I'm putting all the pieces to this like family puzzle, and then going, well, there's this roadblock. Oh my god, what's going to happen?
And where's the family? Like, this is the next step here. So, Brian, you hit the nail on the head, because my mom has 8 children. I am the second oldest of 8 children. So I used to
hit the nail on the head, like I'm right.
Yeah, you're right.
I need that in writing and cropped out to send to Grant and Scott.
No, you're right, because I was always looking at my mom going, it's going to be so easy for me to get pregnant. I'm the second oldest of 8 kids. I was always around babies. I was so used to having kids. It never occurred to me for 1 second that I would have trouble getting pregnant. And I was still in shock 7 years later.
Yeah.
So now, 7 years later, so we ended up with 5 embryos from that round, and every single one of those failed. I did not get pregnant after 5 transfers when I was 28 years old. No pregnancy. And they couldn't understand why.
You're like looking at your husband like, okay, I've done my part. We
what the heck?
We need one swimmer. A single one.
We had actually 5 embryos, like 5 potential babies, no pregnancy. So at the end of that, can you imagine where I was at that point? Because
you're looking at your husband going like, was there like a second lieutenant in the infantry in your family that had the compass and the map, and they're just like, we're lost. We don't know where to go.
And should you just be like, maybe we need to change out some factors here? Yeah, we went through it all. It was a really tough time in our relationship, of course. So when I was 30, at that point then, 31, I actually retired from fitness because I had injuries that were just not healing no matter what I did. Yeah. And I did everything right. I was, had the best physio, and I knew what to do with my body, the supplements, the diet, all of it. And my body was breaking down, because remember I told you that I stopped sleeping for 2 years. I stopped sleeping. I could not sleep. I could not repair. And I now know that my nervous system was stuck up in fight or flight. It was just in fight or flight all the time, and it could not come out of that. And so when I retired from the fitness industry, that's when I discovered Body Talk. And Body Talk is like a somatic therapy where it goes into the stories that we store in our body that cause physical ailments. So we deal with it a lot in hypnosis too. Mm-hmm. And while I was doing that, that's when the whole mind-body piece started to become more apparent to me. And then throughout that journey, then I found a hypnotherapist who specialized in fertility. And she said, often unexplained infertility is a subconscious block. So that's how I discovered hypnosis. and I started working with her. Sure enough, I had all of these in my conscious mind. We know that we're there 5% of the time. In my conscious mind, I wanted a baby more than anything. I was single-minded, so focused. My subconscious, though, was like, Robyn, having babies is really dangerous. I have a brother who is severely developmentally delayed and profoundly autistic. He needs 100% care all of the time. I was really terrified that my baby would not be healthy. And obviously, you know, there's so many layers even to just that, right?
Your brother is probably like one of the most happy people in the world. Like, I have no cares, I have no worries.
No,
he's not. Really?
No, he suffers from profound anxiety himself. He's just nonverbal. He can't explain it. It's really hard. Like, I know it's a hard, lot. Plus I had already taken care of 5 kids for most of my life at that point. And then in addition to that, there was the fear of losing my own autonomy. So that was all subconscious. I didn't know any of that was there.
Right.
And
that's like with PTSD from the military with me. It's like it wasn't like bombs went off and exploded and there was this like super traumatic event. It was, in some ways, I think it was like far worse, where you have such toxic leadership that you rely on them, kind of to keep you safe in a way, more like on the administrative side of things, to have your back. And here, we're going to prepare you for the next level of what you're going through. And then to find out that like they're plotting behind your back, they pull a rug out from under you, actively trying to screw you over. So when like all that trust stuff came in, it affects relationships. And I'm sitting there going like, I don't know why I am the way that I am, and I don't know how to verbalize it. And then finally somebody told me, they're like, everything that you're saying, like, you are the textbook for this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And learning how to manage it has been amazing. But like I totally get like what you're saying is, the not being able to sleep, you're not being able to repair your body's not being able to repair yourself. I'm like, just wait till you turn 40. And,
yeah,
you bring up a lot of really interesting points.
Mm-hmm. So now enter into the subconscious block. I'm working with my hypnotherapist on rewiring these subconscious. First of all, even recognizing them and then rewiring them through hypnosis. And then the next time I did IVF, I started working with a new doctor, and his whole philosophy was unexplained infertility is often an immune system issue, where your immune system will attack the embryos, because half of the embryo is not your DNA. And so there are special immune cells that are meant to protect the embryo. And then there are other immune cells that are meant to, like natural killer cells, that are meant to remove anything that is not you. So his whole philosophy was unexplained infertility is an immune issue, so let's use immunosuppressants. Now, isn't it interesting what my body did? Because subconsciously, I believed that getting pregnant was dangerous. So then my immune system created a barrier between me and the baby. Hi, Mark. Welcome here. And that's what was going on. And so when I was able to reprogram my subconscious beliefs, it helped to then quiet my immune system, because then the message had changed. Instead of being like...
Taking a quick step back, were they able to determine, like, okay, round 2, you got 5 embryos. Did anything, did A be able to go into B and start chooching, and then it just, your body kind of cannibalized it? Or
yeah, so were
they able to tell what happened?
Yeah, it was my immune system. Hi. Mm-hmm. It was my immune system. So remember I told you we had 5 embryos, and they transferred some right away, and I started bleeding a week early, right when I should have been implanting. That was before immunosuppressants. So my body was like, quickly abort, literally, like a foreign invader here, and attack the embryos. And then my next 3 transfers, it was the same thing. I never even had a conception. There was no implantation.
And then kind of through like a menstrual cycle, it just flushed it out of your body physically.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were 5 days old, these little embryos. Like we knew they were good to go.
Okay, so sperm went inside the egg, and it's like, all right, we're rocking here, and then okay, put back into mom into the oven, and then somebody burned the house down.
Yes, then the immune system,
Okay.
literally think about them like an army,
Yeah.
came in and like, what the hell is this doing here? And then they
Uh-huh.
just attacked it, right? So that's what was happening all those years. And by the time I got to, spoiler alert, I do have 2 children now. By the time I got to the point that it actually worked, I had been trying to get pregnant for 12 years. That is 13 attempts a year for 12 years, 6 embryos, never had a positive pregnancy test, never. So now at this point, I'm working through all my subconscious blocks, which was amazing. And then I used the hypnosis along with the IVF with a mild immunosuppressant. And that's when I finally got pregnant.
And your husband's like the whole time going, she's not blaming me. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we made 50 embryos over that 12-year period, like through IVF.
oh man.
Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, that of course made me a convert. I was like, hypnosis really works. Because it was such a sharp contrast to this worked and then this didn't work and now this did. So then I have 2 kids now, and I used there's 4 years in between them. I used hypnosis for both of them, and I had some I had 2 miscarriages in between, but I got pregnant 4 times
Right.
with a combination of hypnosis and the immune suppression. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So outside of hypnosis, like, was there any, I mean, obviously, especially with 2 miscarriages, that's not easy by any stretch of the means to process and deal with, both on a mental, emotional, psychological side of things. were there any type of, did hypnosis or hypnotherapy have any role in navigating those waters?
Yes, my mindset, 100%. 100%. Without hypnotherapy, I would have, because what happened before I had hypnosis, when I had all those failures and stuff, I just went into that deep, dark place and had such a hard time coming out because I could not even imagine myself receiving a positive pregnancy test. So then the first time I had that miscarriage, then I was so scared of it happening again. So I used hypnosis to, in hypnosis, we call it future pacing, where we will put you into the future and the good thing has already happened. And then your subconscious stores that as a memory, and your body will always move towards what's familiar. And if it's a memory, then that means it's familiar, which means it's safe, which means the subconscious will accept it. So that's what my hypnotherapist would do, is that she would future pace me, because the miscarriage happened at 7 weeks. Then she was always future pacing me past the 7-week mark, seeing the healthy embryos, the healthy baby, all the way to holding the baby in my arms.
Okay.
So I did that in between, and all the way through. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was there any bit of it that your husband played, is whether it was helping you with the visualization, or just recognizing, hey, you're kind of shifting down this path, let's try to redirect, like from the partner support type of a thing?
My husband now we've been together for 22 years. My husband now does therapy and hypnotherapy and EMDR and all kinds of stuff. At the time, no, he wasn't doing any of that. And to be very honest, and he knows this, he was a huge block for me in a lot of ways. It was the opposite of supportive in a lot of ways. And, that's something that we're currently dealing with now, that he's dealing with in hypnosis and all of the things, because no, he wasn't,
like dealing with it, like he's participating, or he's undergoing like the hypnotherapy type stuff?
He sees a hypnotherapist.
Okay.
Yes, he works with a hypnotherapist, and then we both actually work with an EMDR therapist. Sometimes we use that in hypnosis too, as the eye movements. But we both are seeing an EMDR therapist, and interestingly, for me, I started seeing one because I wanted to work through my IVF trauma, because my body. Because I work with fertility a lot now, and I have a great success rate. I've been helping women get pregnant for 20 years.
Right.
I was way better at them getting pregnant than me. But now in hypnosis, I help them as well. But what I found, Brian, is they'd be waiting for their IVF result, and I would be waiting for my IVF result all over again. My body would go through all of the same stress and trauma.
Right.
So even if I had worked through a ton of it in hypnosis, it was stored in my body.
Right.
And that's what, I'm now working with, because I love working with fertility. It's so effective working with hypnosis and fertility. And I have such a unique perspective because I've literally been through it all. I've done all of it,
I think one of the things that is maybe understated about EMDR is just how effective it is, because there's physical movement, there's a lot of just scrambling what that emotion was or could have been, and it works really, really, really well.
Yeah, and I was kind of giving it some thought while you were talking. When you mentioned like your husband had you said like he was like a block. There wasn't really a lot of either support or helping. I kind of go back to like when my son was born. I don't want to say complicated, but when he came out, he tore and lots of stitches and stuff like that. So it was one of those things that, he was late. So by the time he came out, it was like cut off to the cross to the room. They're cleaning him up. They're doing all the other stuff. And he got hung up on his mom's pubic bone, and like really just, it was a very laborious experience for both of them. And I remember my mother-in-law at the time, she's like, "Get over there. Why are you standing right here?" I'm like, "I am staying the hell out of everybody's way. I'm letting the knowledgeable medical professionals do what they need to do. And the more I'm plugging my nose in, I'm interfering." So I'm wondering if that wasn't a part of like his thought process, where he's like, I don't know what to do to help her. She's working with somebody. I don't want to interfere, but
Definitely.
It's still having that communication to be able to, like you said, you don't know how to articulate what's going on. So like, I don't know, but begin to try to understand.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting how you're sharing these different things. It's actually kind of cool, hosting a podcast where you get to learn about everybody's different experiences and everything. It's just fascinating to me.
Oh, I agree. I love that so much. And again, Brian, I think you're right. I'm going to say it again. Get it in writing.
Oh my!
2 for 2 so far. Oh, if we get a third one, Shawn's going to be like point streak across the screen.
To start working on a new graphic.
Yeah.
I have been
golden trophy comes up.
But no, what you're saying too is like, I think that for men, I can't speak for men because I'm not one myself. What I've observed in my husband is they just want the pain to stop. They just want the pain. They hate to see their partners in pain. And I was in major mental, emotional, and sometimes physical pain. And he just wanted that to stop. And so he's like, no.
We're like, can we kill it or write a check to stop it? What do we need?
Yes. It was tough. Like, it's really, and I get it. I have so much empathy for that, but the emotional support and all that more came from, it was just harder for him because, again, I was in pain. That was really hard. He's like, all I know to do is to stop the pain. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
thanks, Becca.
That kind of leads me into the next question here, which is your focus now is about safety in the body.
Mm-hmm.
Just everything that you've said says, okay, this shift needs to happen for other people as well. So A, how did it happen for you? And B, how do you work safety in the body without it sounding more like, health and wellness soup, so to speak?
Yeah, totally.
But first,
Brian was right.
What do you define as safety? Like define like safety in the body.
Yeah, awesome. So remember how I said to you that my nervous system was stuck up in fight or flight? Mm-hmm. Sorry, Mark just asked, can EMDR be used to stop worrying about a future event? If it's based on a past one, then yes. Yeah, because you are rewiring that pathway, the pathway that might be worrying. So if, for example, when one of my clients is going through IVF, part of me is worried about their about their outcome. I'm super worried about it, Mark. I'm so worried. It's like it's happening in my own body again, because I would be worried about my outcome. So I'm working with an EMDR therapist alongside hypnotherapy. I still receive hypnotherapy every month, and I'm working with my therapist to get that pathway rewired in my body and in my brain. So I'm worrying about a future event, but it's based on a past one, and that's usually what worry comes from.
So that's like or negative experience. You're having to go through it again. So it's like, hey, I'm going through a divorce. I had a bad court hearing that went sideways. I have an upcoming trial or something, or I got a speeding ticket. I have to go inside the courtroom where I had a bad experience before.
Yes.
You're worried about that. Okay.
And so for me too, even going into the fertility clinic, the smell, that's where I found out both of my miscarriages were happening. That's where I got all of my bad news. That's where I found out my follicles weren't growing well. The smell of the fertility clinic would trigger me, right? So that's, Mark,
wow.
what I'm unwinding from my body and nervous system. So yeah, EMDR is really great for if you have, and I mean, hypnotherapy works really well too. I had a lot of hypnotherapy on this specific trauma. And then I realized, though, from my specific PTSD around IVF specifically, because I don't have a lot of just I don't have a lot of triggers still around the fertility process in general. It's specifically IVF, and I get triggered when I'm helping women through IVF, which I do a lot because I'm really good at it, because I know it inside and out. I know everything about it.
And if they get the results and it's like, okay, nothing took, and they're bummed, it sounds like you're also able to come to it from a standpoint of like, look, I've been in this dark place that you think you're in right now. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and there's better days ahead. Stick with it.
I'm often the only one they can talk to, Brian, because everyone else says stupid shit. And we know anytime you're going through a big struggle, people do not know what to say unless they have been through it themselves. And even still, sometimes we don't know. But because I've been through it, and I've been through all of the aspects of it, and because nobody's journey is longer than mine, it took me 15 years to have my babies. Right. Nobody's journey is longer than mine. So they feel safe with me because they know surely it's going to be faster than Robyn, at least, and they know nobody took longer than me. So then they're safe with me, right? Their nervous system feels safe with me because they feel seen and heard and understood and reassured, because I do have a happy story at the end, and I didn't give up.
So back to the safety inside your body, the defining, and then the two questions that Shawn asked, if you need a refresher.
I wrote them down.
Okay.
Shawn asked, how did safety in my body, how did it happen for me? So I was saying to you that I was stuck up in fight or flight since I was a little kid. I actually don't know that I ever came out of it. And often, because Becca, we were talking about anxiety, often that feeling of anxiety for me was generalized anxiety disorder, just like you, Becca. And I was always, though, anticipating the future and everything that could go wrong. I am the person that if I'm in the room, I know how many people are in the room. I know where the exits are in case of a fire. I know that I'm responsible to get every one of those people out. I am the hyper vigilant one. I've always been like that. I'm the second oldest of 8 kids. I feel like I was born that way. But what that is a nervous system that's stuck up in fight or flight. We call that hypervigilance. And what were my immune cells doing? They were hypervigilant. My natural killer cells were hypervigilant. They were attacking my babies, my embryos, because of that hypervigilance. And so when Shawn said, when did that happen for you? It was not a quick process, but it was throughout my hypnotherapy journey. So I worked with my hypnotherapist for 9 months straight before I conceived my first baby, my first pregnancy. 9 months, I would have a session for once a month, and she would make me a recording, and I would listen to it religiously for 30 days, and then I would get a new one. I'm also very type A, so she told me what to do, and I did exactly that, because you'll do anything to get your baby here. And during that time, I was starting to access rest and digest for the first time. Because when we go into the state of hypnosis, we're dropping down into that rest and digest place. And then you can learn to be there longer. It becomes more safe. You have the nervous system patterns. So when Shawn asked, like, what did that look like for me? So when I was stuck up in fight or flight or feeling unsafe in my body, I had digestive issues, because you have to be in rest and digest to digest. So I had a lot of food allergies, a lot of digestive issues. I had a ton of what's called histamine issues. So mast cell activation syndrome, tons and tons of that.
If you've been out drinking and eat the wrong Taco Bell, sometimes you will be put at rest for you so that you can digest
Yeah, that's
spontaneously.
right. And that's the body trying to protect you, right?
Yeah.
So I had immune issues. Like those are all signs of a nervous system that's stuck up in fight or flight. And adrenal fatigue and chronic fatigue. Those were all, I was dealing with all of those things, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So as my nervous system started to feel safe, because when I say that my nervous system never felt safe, I was always hypervigilant. And I always felt like if I didn't pay attention, who would? That was my big thing. Now,
Right.
through the work that I do, I realize that's very, very common with empaths. So I am an empath. I did not know that because I'm incredibly extroverted. I did not find out I was an empath until I was 35 and I was working with my hypnotherapist.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. Yeah, Mark, you're hypervigilant when driving. That was one of my biggest triggers, Mark. I was a fucking nutcase on the road. And I'd be sweating and like, and I can drive now without that.
But
Like,
the
now
uninsured
that I've
drivers in the States, yeah, you almost, even like when I'm on the motorcycle, it's, you ride like everybody else is trying to kill you.
You have to. That's fine.
A friend of mine sent me a meme that was like, somebody tells me, I'm riding a motorcycle, you're gonna die on one of those things. It's like, nope, odds are I'll probably be about 40 to 60 feet away from it. But nonetheless.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fear. And then like generalized anxiety disorder, is where you worry about everything and how everything could go. It's not so much as just looking at things as glass half empty. It's like, how are things going to go wrong based on what I've experienced in the past or what other people I know have experienced, and how can I prevent that? That was where I lived. I lived in like, how can I prevent it?
So actually something popped into my mind. You talked about the high adrenal output. And I remember like we would do in the military, we would go do a jump. And so like you're in the plane and it's going through all the kind of the countdown, ready, set, okay, green light, you're following, you get to the edge of the ramp or to the door, you jump and wind and jet engine noise and everything like that. And so it's like this big kind of adrenaline rush. And it's like you get on the ground and you're sort of jazzed up, and then you get back to the unit, you do your shoot, shake out, and then you go home, and then you're just kind of like, God, I'm wiped out.
Yeah.
I like shot this big adrenaline rush, and now it's like a sugar high. You just crash and go, ready to go to bed, but then your body is like, nope, you're not going to sleep.
Well, and what Mark and I were just saying is that's what I would experience every time I drove a car. That what you just did, jumping out of the plane, I was there all like just in a car, like just driving a freaking car.
Right.
And so it was I had such a hard time toggling back and forth. And my hypnotherapist at the time explained it like this. She's like, everyone needs a stress response. We know this. Otherwise you would die. Like you need a stress response. It's really important. But if you've ever seen a cat get chased by a dog.
Yeah, their tail gets like
so
this.
Lindsay, brilliant hit. And they're like, they get the back up and they're hissing and they run up a tree and the dog is barking from the bottom of the tree and the cat's hissing and curling up. And then eventually the dog's like, I can't climb a tree. If it's a smart dog, it's going to go away. It's going to go away. And the cat is going to see that the dog is gone. They're going to come down the tree. They might lie on the grass and then just start licking their fur, and they're calm. Mm-hmm. I did not know how to lick my fur. There was no fur licking.
Yeah.
I was always in the tree, always, all the time, right? So through hypnosis, and so it started in body talk with getting the stress moved out of my body physically. That was big, but still, I was still stuck up in fight or flight. It was through hypnosis that I learned how to come down and digest and access that more easily.
Okay.
Yeah. And then understanding that I'm an empath, that I was constantly picking up on other people's anxieties, feelings, thoughts, emotions, and I didn't know it. And then I was taking, like, as an empath, you put yourself into other people's shoes so much that you do not realize you're not even wearing your own. You don't even have your own shoes. You're so living in other people's shoes all the time.
Right.
And remember, second oldest of 8 kids, my mom was really stressed out. It was helping her a lot. And with every client that I trained, every instructor that I trained, it's like I was holding all of that inside my body.
Right.
So through hypnosis and through body talk, I was able to start taking those things out of my body and putting them where they belonged. And my hypnotherapist at the time suggested a bubble of protection. And she said, in hypnosis, this bubble of protection is going to bounce off other people's stuff.
Hmm.
And that changed everything.
Okay.
Once I had that bubble of protection, because the subconscious mind loves imagery, metaphor. And once I had that image of the bubble of protection around me that was going to bounce off other people's stuff that did not belong to me, that's
Mhm.
when things really started changing. So that is now, and again, thank you, Lindsay Eastburn. That is the hallmark of the work that I do is making, because I work so much with empaths. I always put in a bubble of protection with them. Always, always, always.
Now that's really strange. Like, I found that, after I did one tandem skydive before I joined the military. It was right after I turned 18, and it was kind of like, all right, that was kind of wild. Definitely something I'd do again. And then I got out, and it's like each skydive that I do, I usually try to go like every other year. If I could go multiple times a year, I do it in a heartbeat. But it seems like, I get excited to go jump, and then when I'm in the air riding up, it's like you're chit-chatting with the instructor and other people on the plane, and then when you're in the door and it's game time, you're just right there in the moment, and it's almost like I do that to de-stress.
Yeah.
Because you don't care the mortgage and the rent and bills and work, nothing matters. It is just those few minutes, and then you're under canopy and you're flying around going, this is sunset, it's amazing, the views are gorgeous. Have you ever thought about doing something like that, like just to try it?
Yeah, so that was what you just described is exactly what I got from teaching group fitness. I used to say that I would walk through the doors. It was like I was walking through a waterfall where everything that I was worried about was now left on the other side of the door. And for that hour while I was with those people, nothing else existed. It was just
Right.
me. And I would come out cleansed. So
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying. And then I got to the point that my body couldn't do that anymore. I didn't have the adrenaline. I couldn't
Right.
do it. So when I had to retire from fitness, I went through a major grieving. I still grieve it to this day. It's been 15 years.
Oh yeah, you're just like, it's got to be like when the senior enlisted people retire from the military.
Mm.
Like, I was a first sergeant or a sergeant major or something like that. I had a title and a purpose and all this stuff, and now all I'm doing is screaming at the neighbors to get off my grass. And then they fall into like, okay, what do I do? I'm not this kind of renowned person in the leadership role. I'm just Bob or Joe.
Yeah, and what do you say when you're on a flight with somebody and they ask you what you do? Like,
yeah.
I know, and it was a really wild time for me. So meanwhile, I transitioned over to being a body talk practitioner, and that was really hard to explain to people. They'd be like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, it's kind of like the rehabilitative side of health and fitness. But people knew me from the fitness industry, so that was a really interesting time. But my body was, even though it was so good for me to move the physical stress out of my body with the fitness and the connection, my adrenals couldn't do it that way anymore. I had to find another way. And that other way was nervous system regulation through hypnosis.
Yeah, that's wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you better believe that served me well once my babies actually came, because guess what? Being a parent is not
You don't have time for anything.
It's not easy. And they cry and I don't get any sleep. So then here I was, like, thrown back into not sleeping again as a new parent, right? That was a big thing. So
because those things want to be changed and fed and like every couple hours.
and I was so scared of losing that baby. I was so scared. And that was a big thing between conceiving my two kids. I told you there's 4 years in between them, not on purpose. There's
Are they in school yet?
Pardon?
Are they in school yet?
Just starting. Yeah. So one of them's in grade 3 and the other one's going to start kindergarten in the fall.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I was really scared of them dying, to be honest. That was a big piece. The anxiety came back in full force when I was postpartum with my son. But I was so happy I didn't know that I had postpartum anxiety. Nobody was really talking about that at that time. This is 9 years ago.
Mhm.
And I was so scared that if I did not watch him, he would die. If I was not watching him, he would cease to breathe. It's not logical. It was
Right.
subconscious fear. So then it was back to the drawing board with my hypnotherapist, and I had to do I had to do a lot more hypnosis with her before I was able to conceive my daughter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I thought I had arrived. I've been cured, but the whole new set of underlying belief systems reared their ugly heads once I had one kid. So,
Yeah.
Shawn, I wanted to address what you asked me, which was how do you know, like, once you've achieved safety in the body? Well, we know through our triggers. And so one of the things that I had to deal with that I didn't know I had this belief system was this lack and scarcity belief system. Once I had one baby, who was I to want a second one? You have one healthy baby. What are you doing? Because I had to do 2 more rounds of IVF. I had to do, it was way more money. It was so, now I have a little kid at home. And so I had to work
And
that.
spare parts is the wrong answer.
Yeah. I had
What's
to
your name? Plan B.
Yeah.
It's like, if something happens to the original child, I'm the backup.
And I did not get pregnant naturally after that, even though everyone said, "Oh, you'll probably." No, I needed more IVF and more hypnosis. That's just how my story went down. But I had a whole new set of belief systems that I was working through that had come to the surface after having one child. And isn't that parenting? Parenting brings up our triggers.
Oh,
Oh, don't even get me started. There have been quite a number. You know, I mentioned that my boys were both in kung fu, and they were
Yeah.
well into their teens. And teenage boys, for some strange reason, I don't know why, when they get out on the mats, they don't hold back like they're supposed to. They're not really cute like they were when they were like 6 or 7, and they kind of, shuffle along and bop and get a point. No,
you're not supposed to bend like that.
they're all out. And we did have a situation. We were sitting actually right above the match. I think I still have the video of it. And my boy and the guy who was fighting, they were buddies, like different clubs, but you get to know everybody, and just another buddy. And they were going all out, and there was just a sharp crack, and it was their shins coming, both of them.
I hurt just hearing that.
I know, and that's exactly what, like, everything stopped in the gym. It's like, okay, are you guys okay? And
They're like, we're
they
not
both followed back to the start line to finish the match, but of course, both getting a warning after the fact. Tone it down just a little bit, guys. We don't have broken bones, but
Bill Cosby
was probably the ugliest sound that you could hear. And then you see them hobbling, and it's like, okay, no, he's okay. So it's a sharp, and
eyes go this big.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby does his stand-up act. I think it was in the early 1980s.
Which one? Because I can probably quote it to you.
The one where he's wearing the brown suit, and he's talking about his.
Those of you with or without children, you'll understand.
Yeah, my children have brain damage, and I experienced I have never resonated with a stand-up comic act so closely, and you find yourself like just asking questions you never thought you would ask, like, what made you think that the peanut butter and jelly sandwich being put there was a good idea? And it's like the dryer. No, you can't microwave the cat. It will not give it superpowers.
But I love where your head's at. Yeah.
But then at the same time, you've got to also remember when you were a kid, like you fall down and you ring your bell, or you get some road rash, and everybody goes, oh my God, are you okay? I remember the ding dong, and it's the neighbor kid. Cameron crashed his bike and he's bleeding, and I'm like, put my shoes on, and I can't go running out there. I've just got to walk.
Then you'll scare him. Yeah.
And while I'm walking up to him, I just start laughing at him. And you tell that story, and people are like, you are a horrible parent. And I'm like, no, I just got to walk up to him and be like, dude, did we miscalculate gravity or physics or anything like that? And then he's kind of going like, that OODA loop is going like, wait a minute, short circuiting his brain, going, everybody's supposed to be asking me if I'm okay, and then Dad's walking up here going, hey, good news, we don't have to amputate. And it's like, wait a minute. And this is like, okay, this isn't a crisis anymore because I'm really confused. I'm not sure if I'm even hurt anymore. And it's like, all right, like, do you have any idea what you've done to your bike? Which I could care less about. I'm like, the bike's fine. But it's just like, all right, you think you're going to live? All right, cool. Let's go get you cleaned up.
It's a pattern interrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's because they look to us. Every kid's in hypnosis till they're 7 to 9. They look to us, be like, should I freak out right now? Or what, you were still showing empathy. You were there. It's not like you just said whatever and didn't go, but you were doing a pattern interrupt, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can even do that with a baby. Like, oh, that's a fake cry.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't know what it's supposed to do.
Oh, my daughter used to cry, and I would cry with her. I'd be like, "Wah!" And it was just completely mocking her, and then she'd scream louder, and I'm like, all I'm doing is hitting the fast forward button because she can't just.
It's okay, Becca. It's okay. If you need help, I'll blink 3 times.
Yeah. No, Becca, we were talking about things that you never believed that you would hear yourself say as a parent. But no, you just have to like kind of laugh at them, and then just, she'd just be like, I can't get any higher or more pissed off. So then it's just sort of like, I'm not getting the response or like the attention that I want. So now I'm bored with this game.
Well, and I believe that you were also reading the situation, because had he had a compound fracture, I'm sure you wouldn't have been, you might have dealt with it a little bit differently, but you could see that he was okay.
Oh yeah. Like, and you could tell that like the tears were going, and he kind of had like the sniffles, it's like, because he knows like, hey, my friend is going to get my dad.
Yeah. He knows you're coming.
I don't know if I'm in trouble. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, here comes Dad, and it's like, okay, cue this stuff. So like when I coached this flag football team, that was one of the things. And even now, like when I help my friend with some of his motocross training, I'll tell the parents, especially with young kids, like we get a little 5 or 6 year old out on a little PW50, and they just speed wobble and just Charlie Brown yard sale themselves. I'll tell the parents, I'm like, no matter how horrific this works, you stay here.
Yeah.
Because if you run out there and go scoop them up and go, oh, my baby, I'm like, we're not getting them back on the bike.
No, that's right. Because now you've just told them that they should be afraid.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, I get coddled and this is a lot better. And it's like, oh, here's all your juice boxes and stuff. And it's like, dust yourself off. Like, wiggle your fingers and toes. Like, how many fingers am I holding up? And I'll move my hands around. I'm like, stop moving your hand. All right, cool. You notice that. You're cognitively functional. Like, all right. Yeah. Do you know what you did? You whiskey throttled and you didn't listen, did you? Well, no.
Yeah.
And it's like you can get them laughing and get them right back on that bike.
Oh, that's good. And Mark was just asking, with body talk therapy, does it use tapping like EFT? It does use tapping, but not the same way as EFT. Tapping is all about drawing attention to a certain area. So with body talk, we tap over the 3 brains. So we tap over the head brain, and we use a wide hand so that you're getting both hemispheres. So we have the bilateral stimulation. And when we're paying, that draws attention to whatever it is that we're focusing on. We tap over the heart brain because you have neurons in your heart as well. And when we tap on the heart brain, that's like clicking save on the computer. And then we tap over the gut brain, which is over your belly button. And your gut brain is your inner knowing. That's your discernment, your intuition. That's when people say, I go with my gut. That's what they're talking about. So we do tap.
Heart tickles like hell.
It doesn't. I'm not tickling them. I'm tapping. And also too, Mark, we can do body talk from a distance, as in over Zoom, because you could do the tapping yourself. But also with body talk, because it is so somatic, which is where we're looking at like the emotion that gets stored in the fascia of the body. We do affect that in hypnosis as well. That's what ab reactions are. But with that, then we will use hands. Let's say we're working on your liver or your heart or whatever it might be. We'll put our hand there because where attention goes, energy flows.
Mhm.
That's a great way to remember it. So if
Oh,
I'm
I
working,
like that.
Mhm. Yeah. So if I'm working with somebody distance, I would get you to put your hand on whatever it is that we're working on so you can feel it. And sometimes, just like in hypnosis, we're pulling things out of the body and we give it a color and a shape and a texture. And you
Yeah.
imagine, like in hypnosis, we often will just send it out to your hands and your mind. In body talk, we're actually using a physical hand, and people will say, I feel like you pulled that out of my body. I'm like, well, I didn't. I just brought the attention there and you did it.
So with the IVF therapy, whose hand goes where on whom?
Yeah.
Going for that.
Yes, it is all just you and the doctors. Especially, I had my second child during COVID, so my husband wasn't even allowed in the clinic after he did his contribution. I did everything on my own. That was wild.
And from a man's standpoint, he's probably perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, but then emotionally, Brian, like you pointed out before,
He's like, at the driving range, the spaces are 6 feet apart.
yeah, he's like, where, like, you know, how do I be there for you, right? Yeah, Mark, thank you for the question.
Yeah.
How do I be there for you, like? And I remember when we did the IVF with my son, and we were trying to optimize everything, so he wasn't allowed to drink for 4 months leading up to it. Literally, he gave his sample, and he wasn't allowed to go in a hot tub either. So he gave his sample, and then he went and got hammered in a hot tub.
which judging by the dry spell and sitting in a hot tub, it was like he's a cheap date and he's warming his body up and open up those blood vessels and
super happy. He was super happy for an hour.
Like, how many of you had? I've had a Mike's Hard Lemonade and a White Claw, and I bombed.
Yeah, totally. Cannot get out of the hot tub. Yeah. So, you know, what a journey it was. And we continue, again, 22 years together. We continue to learn and grow. And now we've got 2 little kids, and they're learning and growing constantly. And then you're always reparenting yourself when you parent your kids, right, guys?
Oh, absolutely. I can think of many situations over the course of time with both my boys. I was talking about the older one had the shin contact. We say the younger one has decided on a music industry path forward, and it's like, okay, you go from 0 to I've got gigs to 0 to I'm doing construction work. Now I have gigs and I'm with a band, and then next thing I know, they're on tour in Mexico and BC. They've been through BC a few times, Alberta for sure. But the Mexico tour was with Trooper, and you'll know them, the Trooper and Chilliwack, right? Not too far down the road from you.
No.
At least one of those cities is, and it's like, wait a minute, you've been to more countries now than I have.
Wow.
Now they're talking about going to Japan and the Philippines, and I'm like, okay, how are we going to do the parenting piece? How are we going to do this? Dad's trying to solve the problem. Well, it's not Dad's problem to solve.
And that's where our work comes in as parents, is being able to separate what is mine and what isn't. And again, that comes back to, for me, to the bubble of protection. What is for me to decide and what is actually yours. And when I'm in that bubble of protection, I can discern, I can listen to my gut brain, and I can discern what's mine and what isn't. So, and that's a practice now I've taught to my kids as well. And they have their bubble of protection. And as I told you before, with that generalized anxiety disorder, I was really scared to let my kids out of my sight, as you can imagine. Because think about this. My daughter was in a little petri dish for 5 days outside of my body. My son was frozen for 4 months outside of my body. And there's something, right? There's something there in your mind, that separate, that energetic.
If I was your kid, hearing this story and then waiting until I'm 13 or 14, I would just be like, Mom, I'm cold.
Yeah.
Just to be a little asshole.
Runs so hot. He never wants a jacket. He's always
hot. You never clean up your room. You never turn up the heat.
I was in a freezer for 4 months. He knows, and he knows because he was. My son is very aware, And he was very aware while we were going through the IVF for his sister. He remembers the whole process and everything about it. So it's neat. They're very conscious beings. It's hard to parent very conscious beings a lot of the time because they don't let you phone it in. There is no like, go sit in front of the TV. Like that doesn't fly.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. And then you guys, what's so interesting is I told you that I had very bad postpartum anxiety with my son, and I was quite anxious for that pregnancy. Well, now my son is quite anxious. And so we've had to deal with a lot of that with him, right? So he's wired a lot like me. And I now realize in retrospect that I was anxious from the time that I was a little kid, but nobody called it that. Nobody knew how to help me. I didn't have any tools. And now watching my son, we have so many tools for him, you guys. Like it's amazing how we've been able to support him because of my experience with it.
Right. No, that's wild.
And I think that's probably, if there's any one thing, if you are out there watching after the fact, by all means, please connect with one of us, because one of us will be able to help direct you where you can get help. There are so many tools, and they're so effective, and they work really, really well. The unfortunate part is, I think, and Brian and I have talked about this many, many times before.
I was dead at the time.
Well, you might have been. It's hypnosis gets a bad rap. Even I facilitate a course with a research project that I'm affiliated with, and even there, like the very first thing I said, everybody, what's your experience with hypnosis? Well, some guy swinging a pocket watch. It's like, okay, so we're still fighting the 1930s, or the 1700s, or whatever, whatever it is, and so just even stepping them through the people that have contributed to the field, and all of a sudden there's a realization. Wait a minute, there's some science behind this. It's not what religious folks have said. It's it, and you start peeling back the layers, and you realize, wait a minute, here's something that is actually built into each and every one of us. That if we can interrupt it and direct it where we want it to, gets us so much further down the road than anything, almost anything else that could help us.
Yeah, right. I agree. And hypnosis helped me be reasonable. So I could, and it's the same thing with my son. We have to help him stop the spiral. Because if you've ever experienced anxiety, it's that spiral that we can go down, and then you're spiraling and everything's out of control. And hypnosis helps to interrupt the pattern and rewire your brain so it doesn't go down that pathway, so you can make a different choice, so you can be reasonable with yourself, so you can ask the questions, is that likely to happen? Is that actually likely? Even though I can imagine 70 ways that this could go wrong, could we stay here in the moment and know that we're always interested in safety? And Shawn, you had asked me about the safety in the body piece, and really I have discovered over the 22 years that I've been in practice that everything comes down to safety. Everything that we do, every interaction that we have, even if you get into a fight, with a loved one, it all comes down to, do I feel safe or not? Do I feel safe or not? And then I do work a lot with weight loss and metabolism and body image, because a lot of the time, what I've noticed in my practice is that sometimes people will hold on to an extra layer of body weight to have a geographical boundary between them and their stressors. It's protection. It's safety. So my work is, let's create nervous system safety first so that you can begin to change your habits and your patterns. Because as I told you before, I wanted consciously to get pregnant, but my body was like, that's not safe. So my immune system did what it thought it had to do. And the same thing happens with weight sometimes, where people will think, well, I really want to lose weight, but their body's like, no, this weight is my protection. And then self-sabotage happens, or just simply tanks your metabolism. I have a couple of people in my membership who have done nothing but the hypnosis. They have not changed anything. They've done nothing but the hypnosis. And I've had 2 people now lose 30 pounds just doing hypnosis and changing nothing else, because they have nervous system safety for the first time in their lives. Now, that doesn't happen with every person, but it's happened twice just recently in like a 2-month period.
You're like, everything's coming together.
Yeah.
and I think that that's the piece, and even in the course I was talking about, uh, I always include a little bit of hypnosis every session, because it's one thing to just sit there and ramble about it, then take questions and whatnot. You guys need to actually experience it, right? We learn by doing.
Yeah.
And the end goal is to eventually get them to the point of being able to use self hypnosis. But all of that said, the session that I did this last week was on taking that stress and, wherever it is in the body, imagine it going into your hands and then forming a ball. And I said it could be a baseball, it could be a basketball, whatever, and then throwing it away.
Hmm. Yeah, I do
And
that.
one of the guys was just like, "Wow, like I was okay until you said basketball." I said, "Oh," he says, "Yeah, because I play a lot of basketball," and it's just like, "Oh wow," and it was a 3-point shot, and I'm a grinder, and I got right in there, and he's telling me all that. I never said anything about that. All I said was, imagine it to be a ball and throw it away, and that was the session, in 12 and a half minutes. And so he had those results because it connected with him, and like I said, Brian, when things come together for a person and they get it, they go, it's like warp speed.
It's just time sometimes, right? Where you're like, okay, now it's time. And whatever change had come along would be the thing that, they're looking for something to support themselves and what they need. You have to you have to participate in that
Right.
as well. Mm-hmm.
You were going to say participation, weren't you?
Yeah. I was going to make up a word, which was participatory. Participatory is what I was trying to say.
There we go.
Yeah. Shawn's cringing as a teacher. No.
The right emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Yeah, exactly. and that is,
wait, hold on a second. Aluminum or aluminium? I'm willing to die on this hill.
We're Canadian. We say aluminum.
Okay. I'll give you that.
You were expecting us to agree with everything that our British forefathers.
Grant was like, I was asking Grant, was like, you guys overcomplicate this word. Like, you gave it another like 3 syllables that it didn't need.
Yeah, we don't say it like that. We say it like you guys.
Yeah. An unfortunate side effect of being your neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Becky's going to comment on that.
Yeah, there it is.
The redcoats are coming. But your redcoats up north are the Canadian Mounties.
Oh yeah.
Yep, they still have the red surge.
Yeah. Yeah. So did that answer your question, Shawn, about, you asked when it happened for me and then what safety looks like in the body?
Yeah, and I think the important thing to realize is that it is a journey, and like you said, it can be a multi-layered journey. It for you, it was okay. We got pregnant, everything is good, and then there was a whole other set of issues that needed to be dealt with. And oftentimes, when we're working with our clients or helping them step down the road, that is for sure a possibility. And I think sometimes there are a lot of hypnotists who say, "Oh no, 3 sessions, and you're good," and here's the boot and away you go. And it's like, no. If you're going to help somebody, help them until they achieve what they want. And that might be, I've had people that I've worked with in the past that had multiple issues. Well, I want to stop drinking, I want to stop smoking, I need to take care of my body, I want to do it all. Well, that's great, but you're not going to do it in a session or 2 or 3. Like, we're talking over time here. And it for her, similar situation, postpartum depression, the pandemic was just kind of wrapping up, and so on and so forth, and with all the issues that she wanted to get through, her end goal. Mm-hmm. And the picture that got her through, talking about future pacing, was her in her green bikini on the beach with her husband by the barbecue, roasting some steaks or hot dogs or whatever. The kids are playing. They're at the beach, and everything is just perfect and serene. That was the picture she was going for. And after a number of sessions over a number of months, was on her way. And last time I checked in with her, she was happy, healthy, and holding down a job, and the kids were doing well. And but it didn't happen overnight.
No, you're right. And I mean, I told you guys, I still get hypnosis once a month.
Mhm.
Because also, I don't know how you feel about this, Shawn, but I would never go to a practitioner who does not get their own work done. You got to work. You have always to have stuff that's coming up, and you need
Yep.
to be able to look inward so that your mirror is clear. I think it's really important. So I just go ahead and make sure I'm getting work once a month.
Yeah, and it's for me it's kind of spot check because of the limited work that I do. I've only got evenings really that I work with people, and the weekends.
Yeah.
But having worked, and Brian will know Bob, having worked with Bob on a few different things, and then having worked with Dan.
Bob uses the Schwartz on people.
Bob is going to be my focus in my next couple of classes, because we're going to start talking about conversational hypnosis. But yes,
Yay.
Bob can shred a personality faster than anything, and so could Scott. I mean, that was the beauty of it. And for quite a while, we had a really awesome group that was going, and then everybody got really, really busy because we were really, really awesome.
Yeah.
And life happens, but inside the group, it was no holds barred. Like, you did that, you idiot! Like, come on, this is, and we would step each other through different scenarios and work on different issues with each other, and then Bob would intervene, and all of a sudden somebody would all of a sudden, like Brian just said, the kiss the ring of the Schwartz, for lack of a better term, and is like, yep, and there's Scott right there. Look at this. What did he say? Oh, go ahead, Brian. Fighting all right.
Americans just took you out of the words, and
you didn't kick us out of the country. We left voluntarily. Just like there weren't 13 original colonies, there was like 18. Some of us decided it was better off. We'd be better off with the crown. So anyway,
how's that working out for you? Just ask Alberta.
Well, I don't know. Our king was just down there talking to your president. So
yeah, you know what? I gotta give them credit. They had some pretty good back and forth. The friendly banter, and I think I was talking to Grant today, and I was asking about the monarchy, and I guess there was a lot of I guess not really like recent developments, but I think it's like the Labour Party or something that's kind of in power now, and then a lot of it's like Conservatives 2.0, the Reform Party in the UK. They had a bunch of elections that just happened, and I was kind of asking Grant, I was like, with the royal family, what's kind of their role in everything? And he goes, it's more of like a placeholder, symbolic thing. And I'm like, you know what? So you mean to tell me that I'd be like, where do I sign up for that? I'm praised and worshipped as this like super high social person. I get to ultra luxurious lifestyle, really zero responsibility. And if something goes to hell with the government, it's like, oh, it's the prime minister, that y'all picked. And then it's like, okay.
It's symbolic, but not quite that symbolic.
It's like the king can't be fired. It's like death can be the only one that says, all right, we're eliminating your position. And then you
look at British history, there were a number of kings that were fired along the way.
I believe they were killed. But
there you go. That's all you fire a king.
Yeah. and so it's like you almost have to worry about, internal family politics, like just like now. But no, it was just kind of interesting. You know, it was really cool just to see that friendly banter.
Well, we have to be friendly to one another. After all, we're all the same.
It,
You guys just don't want to acknowledge it, that's all.
you just want us to keep buying maple syrup.
Well, that's good stuff. What can I say?
Sure is.
Before we get on to the friend and frenemy question, because we're almost getting to that time,
Yeah.
you have a couple of communities that you built, Safe Body and Thriving Body. Tell us a little bit about those. Who should be joining? Which sounds like everybody in hand.
The reason I did that, Shawn, is because of exactly what you talked about, which was it's a journey. You need support. It's not just 3 sessions and done. It was that kind of thing. And so, again, being incredibly empathic, I really love to help. It's my favorite thing. I love, 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 love to help. And not everyone can afford a one-on-one session. I recognize that. Not everybody can. And this really bothered me because I want to be able to help people, but not, what about all the other people? So that's why I first started my podcast. So I started my podcast where every second week I do a hypnosis session. And alternating weeks, I interview a guest, and it's usually through the lens of being an empath and how we can help our listeners thrive with that. And then, so that's free. So I've got free hypnosis on that. And then I have a Safe Body community, which is just it's a hypnosis session that people can get for free that has to do with putting the bubble of protection and creating that body safety, perhaps for the first time. People can ask questions. I post different things there. So that's my free community that anybody can join. It's in the school platform, which is really nice. And then my Thriving Body community is more focused on weight. So it's more focused on weight, body image, etc. But again, it's through the lens of being an empath and creating nervous system safety so that your body can let go. And Shawn, you had asked me before, like, what does it look like to have nervous system safety? Also, what does it look like when you don't? And some of the things that I see in my community are like fear of being seen, fear of putting yourself out there, fear of getting things wrong. Again, weight, body image, that kind of stuff. Afraid of getting in trouble. We've done boundaries. We have done sugar cravings. That's a big one. I've done a hypnotic GLP-1 effect, which is getting the brain and body communicating. We already make GLP-1. That's the weight loss injectable that you can buy pharmaceutically. But we already make GLP-1 in our body. And so with my body talk somatic background, I walk people through a hypnotic GLP-1 effect where you can increase and turn on your own GLP-1. So that's a fun one. So I have 12 classes. I kind of teach a class for 30 minutes about whatever the topic might be. And then we go into a 30-minute hypnosis session. So there's already 12 classes in the member portal, and I tend to do a new one every month. This month, we're going to be talking about joy, the aspect of joy in the weight loss or body image journey. Some of the people that are part of that membership, though, are not actually needing to lose weight or don't have a lot of weight to lose. They're more working on their body image. And again, that fear of being seen, self-love. We've worked on all of these things in the last year. And for some people, it doesn't come out as weight gain. It comes out as autoimmunity, your body attacking itself. And that's, working on that self-love. So it's been a really wonderful journey. People often, let's say they'll come and book, let's say 3 sessions. We usually say you start with 3 sessions and then they'll continue on afterwards in the membership, or they start in the membership and then they're like, this isn't deep enough to my specific needs because it's more general. So they might want to do some one-on-one work. Or sometimes people start with the podcast and then they do one-on-one and then they, want to work with the Thriving Body membership. So that one is $19 US a month. And it's just a subscription. You can cancel anytime. You immediately get access to the entire library, and then plus whatever the new additional classes are. So those are the 3 ways and I feel like I'm covering all my bases. I've got free, I've got inexpensive, and then I've got my one-on-one, boutique. And then I also do custom hypnosis sessions, and that's usually how I work with children. So I do custom hypnosis sessions for kids, more like a hypnotic story. And I've worked with kids now because in Body Talk I did as well for 15 years. And we've done things like dental anxiety and surgery prep and bedwetting and potty training. And I work a lot with kids with anxiety. As I told you, my own son, I often feel like I was training to be his mom for those 10 years that I worked with kids just like him. So that's something I really love to do. And so then that's less expensive. So I feel like I have these tiers of ways that I can support people wherever they're at.
Yeah, and kids are remarkably great at picking up on just the odd thing. I was working with a young girl. Her mom knew me as a hypnotist, and through the school division and whatnot, and called. Can you help with this? I said, well, let's find out. And so we did, and now she is a whirlwind of a powerhouse that. And I hadn't seen her for a year. I was actually at the school about a year and a half later, and it's like, oh yeah, she is so gung ho to go. I said, oh, did we overdo it? But the and they said, no, it's okay. But the imagery that we used for her was, when the big bad wolf is chasing you, be like the Roadrunner, because that was the cartoon she was watching. And so it's just like, boom. Well, that's what we're using. If you want to be like the Roadrunner, then when that happens, take off. And so yeah, she's on the move, doing things that she was too scared to do previously. And
Wow.
yeah, it's kids can respond so quickly.
Definitely. I've had that same experience. It's so satisfying as a practitioner too, because I think that we as adults, I've had so many adults be like, oh man, I wish I'd had this when I was a kid. Oh man, I wish so with a lot of our kids, we can help now, which is really lovely.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Before we wrap up and ask the big question, Brian, anything else?
No. I just had a kind of a urgent email pop in that I just responded to real fast. But no, I think that we're gonna ask the $1 million question and then roll into the hypnosis.
Yep. So before we ask the big question,
Mhm.
friend or frenemy, everybody, you have an opportunity to say friend or frenemy.
Yeah,
in the
place the
chat.
bets.
Don't say anything else about what the question is about. And while you are doing that, we have one last question for you.
And don't elaborate on your answer.
It's either friend or frenemy. That's it. If somebody listening feels stuck, exhausted, overweight, anxious, unseen, or overly responsible for everyone else's emotions, what would you recommend as the first small step to take today?
The bubble of protection. The bubble of protection, and I'm going to do it with you right now. We're going to put it in the bubble of protection today.
How is that for a segue?
Shawn. Seriously, it's that just in itself can change so much.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Becca's saying friend.
I'll go with friend. I think we can trust her. Don't disappoint me.
All right. Give it one more second here, and then we'll ask the question. So the preface to this is we had a friend who was our co-host for a number of years until he passed away. But the three of us really don't like pineapple on pizza. So the question, the friend or frenemy question is, Robyn Holm, does pineapple belong on pizza?
And you said I can't nuance it, right? It's yes or no?
Yes or no?
This is not, well, if it's there, I'll eat it. If I was down, it's like, okay, you are calling up your favorite pizza provider and you are placing an order for yourself. Is pineapple on that pizza or not?
Nope.
So, no. Yes. Told you she could be trusted.
There we go. That's right. Good answer. Good answer.
My son and my husband, yes, they will always order that. But I'm so interestingly, I'm actually a carnivore. I only eat meat and dairy. So there is definitely no pineapple on my pizza. It is meat, it is cheese, and it is more meat on top.
There we go.
If you weren't married, I would propose marriage right now, just based off of that.
This diet. Becca agrees.
Oh,
Yep, Becca agrees. Correct answer. There we go. All right, we are going to turn the screen over to Robyn for the next little while. And before we do, we always have our disclaimer.
how Mark says you can be wrong.
All right, here we go. And the disclaimer is this, and it doesn't matter whether you're on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, wherever, whenever. Hypnosis relies on focus. So if you are focusing on your current circumstance, you are driving a vehicle, you are moving heavy machinery, you're cooking. I even had that on TikTok once where I did my little disclaimer, and one of the ladies on there said, yes, I was actually chopping vegetables. And I'm thinking to myself, it's a good thing I did that, because that would not be good if all of a sudden there was a finger missing or something like that. Whatever it is, if you need to focus on your current circumstances, do that. You can always come back to the podcast later. It will be up on YouTube in perpetuity, and we will eventually get it onto Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So you'll be able to listen to this interview and the hypnosis that we are going to jump into here anytime. So that's the beauty of technology now, is it can be anywhere, anytime. So with that in mind, we'll disappear behind the scenes and turn the screen over to you, and have fun, Robyn.
Thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate you. Okay. So it's time now to just allow yourself to get comfortable. Whether you're sitting or you want to lie down, just wherever you can let your body begin to relax. And as you allow your body to begin to relax, you may even begin to allow your eyes to drift on down closed. And with your eyes closed, I wonder if you could focus on your breath. Breathing in deeply and letting go completely. And as you breathe and as you let go, I wonder if you could allow your attention to settle on any sounds you might hear. You might hear traffic outside. There might be voices or pets. You might even hear the air conditioning system come on or go off, or the heater, whatever it might be. Any and all sounds will bring you deeper within. Any and all sounds will bring you deeper and deeper into the peaceful, positive, powerful state of mind known as hypnosis, where you can begin to let go, where you can begin to breathe, where you can begin to discover peace and ease. Any and all sounds bringing you deeper within. And as you breathe and as you let go, bring all of your attention up to your eyelids now. And just notice your eyelids. And in just a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to begin to count from 10 down to 1. And on 10, you're going to open your eyes. And on 9, you're going to close them on down, and so on and so forth, until you drop down into a deep and relaxed state that we'll call trance. So go ahead now and open your eyes with 10. 9, close them on down now. 8, opening your eyes. 7, close them down. 6, they're opening. 5, let them shut. 4, opening your eyes. 3, close them now. 2, allow them to open. And 1, You can keep your eyes shut now and take another big, deep breath. And as you let your breath out, I wonder if you could settle a little more deeply now. That's it. And now bringing all of your attention back to the little muscles around your eyes, the ones in your eyelids, and all around your eyes, and just give them permission to melt shut. Give them permission to fully relax. And I wonder if you could imagine your eyelids melting shut like candle wax. And when it feels like your eyelids have melted shut, just like candle, could you give them a little test, a little check? As remain stuck shut, you can stop testing and take another big deep breath. Another big deep breath all the way in, all the way up. And then follow that breath down. Deeper and deeper down. Deeper and deeper down. That's it. And now, I wonder if you could imagine yourself in a magical elevator. And it's magical because it's a large elevator. It's a big elevator. Tons of space in this elevator. And once you can imagine yourself in this elevator, you'll notice that there are 10 floors. And in just a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, the elevator will come to life and begin to move downward. And with every floor down, you will become even more deeply relaxed. And if becoming even more deeply relaxed sounds good to you, just go ahead and nod your head. And now the elevator comes to life and begins to move downward in 10. 9, you're going deeper now. 8, more and more relaxed. 7, feel yourself settling. 6, deeper and deeper. 5, you're halfway there now. 4, 3, more and more relaxed. 2, and 1. The elevator comes to a stop and you are deeply relaxed. And in just a moment, I wonder if you could imagine looking around the elevator, and I wonder if you could imagine a garbage can just off to the side. And imagine now heading over to that garbage can. And when you're standing right by the garbage can, I wonder if you could turn your attention inward. And I wonder if you could locate any feelings of worry or anxiety, any feelings that have you hypervigilant. And I wonder if you could scan your body now and determine where those feelings are located. And when you've located those feelings of anxiety or hypervigilance or always worrying about what might come next or what you need to do, I wonder if you could imagine passing those feelings down into your hands, as if you were draining those feelings down into your hands. And when you've allowed all of those feelings to go down into your hands, just nod your head. And when all of those anxious, hypervigilant feelings are in your hands, I wonder if you could go ahead and put them in the garbage. Could you do that now? Go ahead and put them into the garbage. You don't need them anymore. Put those feelings in the garbage. And now, the universe does not like a void, so it's time to fill up all those spaces and all those places with something beautiful, with something good. If you could imagine a light coming down from the ceiling of the elevator, beautiful universal light. I don't know what color it is, but you know. And imagine that beautiful light coming down through the top of your head. Down through the top of your head, into your head brain, the right and left hemisphere. Feel it calming your brain now, calming your mind. And allow that beautiful calming light to head down your spine through the vagus nerve all the way to your heart brain. Loose, relaxed, letting go. Allow that beautiful light to fill every cell. The mitochondria, the spaces, the places that were once taken up with anxious thoughts. And allow that beautiful light to continue down into your heart, brain, filling your entire chest cavity, front and back, side to side. And when your entire chest cavity is full of universal light, imagine it heading down your spine, down your vagus nerve, all the way to your gut brain. That's your stomach. Some people call that your small intestine, your gut brain. And I wonder if you could imagine that universal light going right into your small intestine, into all the tubes, all the junctions, making them tight, into the little villi that take in your nutrition. Allow that universal light to fill your gut brain right now. And when your gut brain feels full of universal light, I want you to notice how now your head brain and your heart brain and your gut brain are connected. They're connected through the vagus nerve. They're connected through universal light. These are your three brains, and when they're operating together, you are operating out of discernment and wisdom. This is your ability to tell what's good for you and what isn't. It doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter what they say. You know what's right for you. Yes, you do. And I wonder now if you could let that beautiful universal light come out of your body and surround you completely until you are completely surrounded by universal light. And then notice how it begins to solidify into a beautiful bubble. All around your body, you are inside your bubble. And this is your bubble of protection. And notice how it's connected to your gut brain and your heart brain and your head brain. That means that this bubble is discerning. This bubble knows exactly what to let in and exactly what to keep out. And this bubble will bounce off anything that is not meant for you, anything that is not meant for your highest good, other people's judgments or opinions, or even their emotion. Now, you can still feel their emotion, sure, but this bubble will allow you to not take it into your own body. This bubble will keep you safe from taking on other people's judgments, feelings, or emotions. And isn't that wonderful? And when your bubble feels fully intact, big enough for you, I wonder if you could just imagine it bouncing off the stuff that you don't need. Imagine it now. And then I wonder if you could put your thumb and finger together as if you were making an okay sign. And we're going to call this your anchor. We're going to anchor in this feeling of being inside your bubble with your three brains in alignment, governing your decisions, so that you can listen to yourself. You can listen to your gut. You can listen to your heart. And you will know just what to do. In each and every moment, you will know what to do because you're protected by your bubble and your three brains are in alignment. And every time you put your thumb and finger together, you will be reminded of your bubble. You will feel strong and secure and full of universal light. And this is so. And in just a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. And as I do, you'll keep awakening a little more, knowing that your bubble is always with you, knowing that your bubble cannot be popped, knowing that your bubble is discerning, and it will let in what's meant for you and keep out what isn't. Your bubble is with you always, and you can be reminded of it anytime you want by putting your thumb and finger together in that okay sign. And this is so. 1, you're beginning to awaken now. You're coming back to a wide awake, fully alert state, feeling confident and happy. 2, you feel a wonderful feeling of well-being flooding through your entire body. 3, you're feeling rested and refreshed, confident inside your bubble. 4, all the suggestions I've told you are in the storehouse of your mind now, and they keep becoming more effective each day because they're a cycle of progress that grows stronger each day. And 5, you can open your eyes now, feeling healthy, happy, and confident. You can open your eyes fully aware and fully alert.
And with that, progress has been made. It's one of my favorite statements. Progress has been made.
Ooh,
And, that was amazing. And, typically I think almost everybody that is a regular watcher knows when Brian and I are behind the scenes, we're watching the chat, we're making sure things are still flowing and whatnot. So we often don't get to do this until after. I'm looking forward to this one because this the bubble of protection, and I can see how you've connected things internally so that it flows not just from one spot but from multiple spots. And I'm taking notes, and the teacher in me is saying, okay, well, this connects to here, and
yeah.
this connects to here. Okay, wait a minute, now she did this. What's going on here? And what you should get out of the bubble of protection is very much a reset.
Yeah.
And Mark is saying,
Oh, Mark, I'm so glad. And Mark, you can come back. So we used an anchor. I don't know if you noticed that, Mark, with a thumb and finger together. So if you find that your brain wants to return to rumination, do your anchor, thumb and finger together, and put it on the outside of the bubble. So Shawn was talking earlier about that self-hypnosis of identifying it and passing it into your hands. And that's exactly what we did in the hypnosis. So if your brain wants to try to ruminate again, anchor, and that is going to pattern interrupt. You're going to put your thumb and finger together and be reminded of your bubble. And then you can actually take that rumination and throw it in the garbage. Throw it in the garbage. You don't need it anymore. Well, thanks,
that's right. Violet under G for garbage.
Yes.
Well,
yes, back up.
Extra late for you tonight. It's already tomorrow over there.
Yeah, it's tomorrow and then some.
Yeah, go get some sleep. May you sleep sweet.
And Beck, we hope your headache is feeling much better and that you're getting some relief.
Mm-hmm.
All good.
Oh, thanks, you guys. Shawn, I'm a teacher too, so I really get that.
Okay, what's she doing here? And for me, I'm more of a mapper than a note taker. Like I'll draw it out. So I've got arrows going all over the place here. And,
yeah, I do that too.
And that in a session like this, you need those arrows going in multiple directions because you know what? When you feel attacked, it's never coming from just one spot. It's often a multi-front attack, at least when you feel it. And so having a multi-layered defense to keep you safe works. It will keep you far more stable than I did one thing and I disconnected one thing and that was it. Well, that's a one-time event.
Yep. And in body talk, we're always reconnecting things. We're making that's like body talk is getting the body talking to each other again. So I don't do a lot of hands-on body talk anymore because I just walk people through the techniques instead in hypnosis. And I find it so much more effective because they're just plugging it straight in. Yeah. So that's like, before it was like, get rid of the anxiety, fill it up with the light, and then allow that light to now integrate your three brains. And then that makes the bubble. So that's the pathway, right? So it's being able to let go, fill the space, reconnect, and then protect. And sometimes Shawn will do it the opposite way where I'll put the bubble in first so that if I know that people can't let go of the anxiety until they have another way. So sometimes I do it the other way. They need the bubble first because
Yeah.
they don't feel safe to let go. But if I'm doing weight loss, I put the bubble in first before I ask them to let anything go. Always. And same thing with addictions. I would put the bubble in first because they're not going to let go of their cigarettes that are keeping them safe, quote unquote, until they have another way. And that's the bubble. So I'll put that in first. But in this one, because we were doing anxiety, it was like make space by getting rid of it and then fill it up and then put your bubble in because, and then we can learn to just put it on the outside of the bubble when we find it in the body.
100% bang on. Oddly enough, somebody named King Charles X254 just showed up here, so I can't tell if it fits the royal profile or not.
You
But
tell Grant to knock that.
it's all good. It's all good. Robyn, I believe I owe you some time going live on TikTok, and somewhere along the way, hopefully, we are able to have you back on the podcast again.
Yeah, we definitely like to have you come back. And then we touched on I guess before we let you jam out of here, and any either shows, training, products that we can help showcase.
Oh, you guys are so sweet. I do train instructors through the Haven Ridge School of Hypnotherapy. We do that's the 220-hour program. I'm a co-teacher. I don't do the whole thing. So that's in the fall, and it's so far it's in person, which is in Salmon Arm, British Columbia. But we're working at getting it online because man, you got to do everything online these days, right? Other than that, it's just my my communities. That's the main thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do some workshops and things for other hypnotherapists, but I don't have anything in the books right now that would be online. Mm-hmm.
We'll have to bring you down to the States. There's a pretty cool venue that we've done some hypnosis training or kind of conference to go check out. So if you want to expand, give people a reason to fly into Seattle.
Fun.
Or if they go into Vancouver and drive down, it's a nice drive.
Awesome. Yeah, I know. I love Seattle.
So,
like I said, I haven't been there in a while, but it's a wonderful place. Super easy for us to get to as well from Kelowna. There's actually a direct flight. Yeah. You guys go down to Hypnothoughts in Vegas?
That's actually where I met Jim in person for the first time.
I have not. I've been encouraged to go, but usually when Hypnothoughts is going on, it's been like parade season for the Shriners and things like that. So it's kind of conflicted, and I'm also like Las Vegas in the summertime. It's 140 degrees outside.
Yeah, we're inside the whole time. Like I didn't leave the hotel the whole time I was there.
But speaking of Vegas, we've got Performing Hypnosis Summit that's late January 2027. So that'll be I think our fourth year in person. And so each year we're improving and building upon it and things like that. So we would love to have you come down. And
amazing.
Perhaps there's a training or something if you want to pre-conference or post.
Yeah, for sure.
There's tons of opportunities, and write it off as a business expense.
Yeah, oh, so great, hey. And is that for stage hypnotists only?
It is for everybody. It sounds like it's only for stage performers, but the reality is we're two sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would describe it as it's primarily geared towards the entertainment side, but there's a lot of the entertainment side that's able to cross over.
Oh, 100%.
So it's not just, hey, here's how you jump around on stage and get your volunteers to make people laugh. It's here's how you can do your online marketing. Here's, a friend of mine's going to be giving a couple of presentations on wealth management and kind of financial advising. That was very, very well received last year. So we're going to bring him back. He's actually going to be one of our sponsors.
Nice.
Here's different ideas as far as marketing, getting sponsorships for your shows or your events or your trainings, that type of stuff. So there's a lot of things that you can tie into, but then there are people who do both stage and the therapeutic side to supplement their income, or slow times, things like that. And so it's a lot of just networking, and not networking of, hey, we just trade a bunch of business cards, but you're really getting to know people and sharing silly, just dumb stuff of, oh, we ran into so-and-so on the strip, and do you remember this drunk guy that came in, and just, you're building those core memories. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, and coming from fitness, like I did conferences all the time, right? So
Yeah.
I love conferences. Like I do, I really do. But I don't do stage hypnosis at all, and I never will. Like I'm the person I'm like, I'm gonna watch from here because, oh my God, what if they pick me? And it's so funny because I like presented in front of thousands of people, in fitness. But yeah, the stage. But I am so fascinated by it, and I love watching it. And I just think that stage hypnotists are just so incredibly talented because you have to be so good at reading people. You have to be able to put people into hypnosis so quickly. Like I think you guys are magnificent. So I love watching it, but I'm not
some of the, like the last couple of years we've tried to get out and do street hypnosis. The 1 year that I tried to get a group out, it just happened to be like super cold outside. It was in the upper 30s, and people were like,
super cold. It was above zero.
Yeah,
and dry, not even cold at all.
for Vegas, people are walking by us going, no, we don't want to stop. Starbucks is at the other end of the Bellagio fountain.
Yeah,
and then last year it was just trying to get people coordinated because we went to go see a show, and then we ended up doing it on a Sunday. But
I had to remind them that I came from minus 52.
Yeah, you're like bumping. You only packed shorts, right, Shawn?
Yeah, and you don't want to see me in my shorts because the light starts reflecting off my legs.
Oh, no, I know. Same here.
Have you seen Nature's Flashlight? But I think this year one of the things that I'm going to endeavor to do is going to just serve multi-purpose, is to get people to fly in early.
Yeah,
because your Tuesday, Wednesdays are your cheapest days to fly. Thursdays, going into Vegas, people, they're going to get you because people have the long weekends. But, again, Thursday night, people are generally kind of like, all right, I'm getting into town. We get going Friday morning, and you kind of hit the ground running. But if we can get in, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's like, let's go out and do some street hypnosis. And, if you're out there with us, like, you know how to hypnotize somebody. Here, we're going to learn how to do this rapid induction so you don't have to sit there and stare across the room and finger magnets. It's like, all right, wham, wham, just go real quickly. And you can do that with your therapy clients.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, and rapport is, that's a whole other conversation. But I just looked at the time. I have to go get my little kids to bed.
Oh, yeah, it's bedtime. I'm sure they would not object. Mom, 5 more minutes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
my husband. You don't want to teach that habit.
Oh, thank you so much.
It is all good. And like I said, we would love to have you back on the podcast, and somewhere along the way, you and I will have to get together on TikTok and go live.
Yep, that sounds great, Shawn. We'll set it up.
Yeah, we would love to return the favor.
Thanks.
So anything that we can ever do to help you out, promote anything, please reach out. And then when you want to come back and whatnot, reschedule, and we'd be honored to have you back on.
Thanks, Brian. That's so great. You guys are so awesome. I really appreciate you.
Go be super mom.
And for everybody else out there, we will see you next time on the Hypnosis Hero podcast. Until then, take care, stay well, be awesome.
Stay free.